you. Good morning, everybody. This is Joanna, and welcome to the early morning Ascension show. And I'm going to intend to create these shows a little bit earlier so that it really can be early morning. You might not be listening to it early in the morning, but that's the intention. And there is no time, so we'll just go there. So a couple of things we wanted to do a little bit differently today is those that so desire, that are really wanting to become more of their higher harmonization with their teams and their souls' destiny of spiritual alignment, the galactic communities and councils, the guides. Remember, your higher self and your guides are always your gatekeepers. And so just know that and intend that when you go into your meditations and your daily self-care. And so our shows are, and our offerings are from all of the many years that I've been here moving through Ascension, my life experience. They're loving offerings of multidimensional Christic capacity and all the gifts that I've come with to share, as well as all of the many timelines that I'm able to offer in as my now soul moment, because as we awaken, we become our soul, and we live as our soul, and we communicate as our soul, and we allow all that we are to move within this new epicenter of light that we are now becoming, aware of who we are as the soul. And our shows and our offerings are loving sharings from my heart and my teams to you, if you so desire. And they're meant to be a loving offering to assist in humanity's oneness, humanity's healing, and our co-creative fifth dimensional universal experience. And so in that, we wanted to just offer a beautiful moment of just sacred hello and sacred communion, so that for those that choose to have the highest potentiation of our offerings of Christic multidimensional light, because those of you that have been with us for so very long understand that when we offer what we say, there's multidimensional stories within what we say because of the Christic vibration that connects with our crystalline fields, our magnetic fields, and all that we are as beings. So those that choose to want the best and the highest interactions with us and your teams and your spirit guides to align you in this epicenter of light that you are. It's a part of daily self-care, because as we accelerate, it will be really important that daily self-care be done to clear and cleanse all energies in your fields and in your chakras that do not serve, that you want to transmute and transform, as well as realigning with the epicenter of light that you are, so that as you move about your life and you're calling in those higher vibrational manifestations, you're manifesting as spirit. Remember, we are a spirit creating matter and manifesting as matter. And so our shows will be constant in its offering of aligning in who you are as a sovereign being of light, understanding the importance of multidimensional care and self-care and alignment to allow you that highest access of who you are with spirit, and allowing you to activate the many gifts that you've come with to assist in your own destiny's creation. And again, in doing so, you end up, as you express your unique gifts, you end up just naturally being the clearing mechanism, because you're taking commandmentship of all that you are as a being, not relying on anything outside of you for direction, what to do, where to go. You are your highest guardian. You are your highest counsel, which is what we talked about this morning. We'll talk about in our offering today. But what we wanted to offer you, so those that want the highest capacity out of our offerings and want to start tuning into and activating with intention the Christic energies and the multidimensional codes that go into our offerings. Remember, if you listen to any one of our shows, you will get a different message each time, because they're multidimensionally layered. And they sit within your field as pockets of information and little packets of multidimensional light that are brought into your conscious mind when you're ready. So everything is always divine timing with light language. It's spontaneous, it's instantaneous, and when you're ready to awaken to that information after you've cleared limiting beliefs, then those will be activated for you. And so with all of the councils of light, Lord Michael and all of the archangels and the ascended masters, all of the light council beings that we work with, your guides, the healing teams, if you ask for something specific and intend something specific as you sit down with us, then the multidimensional beings are already with you. Thank you, beings, thank you. And many of my gifts are opening up the last couple of days, because I've been doing so many new Sophia code activations. And so I'm seeing things differently, and I'm feeling things differently. And so we're going to, those that want us to have those activations of practicing the Christ consciousness and knowing that you're Christ consciousness and feeling it differently, and allowing your fields and your bodies to ascend and your consciousness to rise. Because remember, the dimensional reality that you experience has everything to do with your consciousness. So the lower vibrating consciousness you have in the limiting and the steeped beliefs of lack and self and fear, and control, those will keep you in those systems and seeing and perceiving everything within those limitations. So as you awaken your consciousness to be the all, as to be no boxes, no boundaries, no roof, no walls, that is that fifth dimensional experience that we offer and inspire and empower and encourage for you, because you are infinite beings of light. You're perfect. You were born perfect. The stories that we insert ourselves in, that we were inserted within, are for us to clear away those densities for all lineage, for all Akash, for all timelines. And so those that want to stay with us and activate that part, we're going to do something different today and just activate the multidimensional allness and that pillar of light and that chasm of who you are, the epicenter of who you are is light. And just understanding that it's with your intention and with your breath, your oneness, your desire to love who you are, all that you are, to tune into the multidimensional capacities of infinite potentiality of light and love. And a full body breath that brings you up to the heavens. And as you exhale, just release any negativities, any densities, any worries, and any concerns. And those that don't want to take part in this, you can just scroll ahead. And just clearing anything within your field that has been projected, anything in your field that you took on that's not yours, just bathe and cleanse it with light. And imagine the heavenly angels just bathing you with crystal light. I bathe and cleanse all that I am, releasing any energies, any projections, any imprints, any thought patterns, anything that has been sent to me that is not divine and sacred, and I send back in a bubble of love. Because I only choose to entangle with magnificence. And through breath, I intend to bathe and cleanse all chakras with the highest frequency of light, because I intend it, because I am. And my cells are awakening to new access of light. My cells are seeking the light because I'm asking my cells to seek the light. I'm asking myself to receive the light, that when I'm out in the sun and I'm moving about Gaia, that I'm receiving the nourishing energies. My physical, my mental, my emotional bodies, all of my spiritual bodies, my magnetic fields are being bathed and reset right now. Please, the holy creators and our healing angels, please, from within and from without, for I am the God consciousness within, I'm the God consciousness without, and I reset it. I am the commander of all that I am as multidimensional energies. And as I'm sitting in this beautiful sacred group etherically, because we are all etheric energy bodies coming together for sacred communion, even though you might all be communing at separate times, our energy bodies are still in one. We're excited to meet every day because we're excited to know that, wow, we're creating Earth as we're doing this. We're creating these infinite possibilities for our new realities to share, trade, and to share the goods and the services that we offer for socio-altruism, for a beautifully vibrational Earth that we've never seen or heard, but we're creating it through our hearts. And we're asking all of the teams and all of the angels and all of the ascended masters and the healing teams and our celestial beings and our guides and our angels and Gaia and the Elohim and the fairies and the nature elements and all of those that are connecting us with our ascension star, with our own unique destinies, to bathe and cleanse and clear. Please bathe and cleanse and clear any energies of lack, any limitations. I choose to open myself up to the highest potentiation of who I am. I choose to open myself up to the alignment of who I am as the divine destiny of me with Source Creator. For I am a vessel of light, and I choose to relay all that I am as light, to emulate, to radiate myself as light. For I am in alignment with my higher self and my soul. I call my soul forward. I call my soul forward. I call my soul forward in mind, body, spirit, and soul. And I honor myself as a soul of light. I honor myself as a soul of spirit and love and graciousness. Thank you, solar creators. Thank you to the earth. Thank you to the creators of the heaven, the 12th dimensional creators. Thank you to creators. Thank you. Thank you, 12th dimensional creators. Thank you. And we bathe this beautiful sacred circle for our intentions to open our hearts as one. For our hearts are the portal of all new dimensional creations, and we're so excited. We're so excited. And we bathe our day with love and light. We bathe our day with synchronicities of joy and compassion. We bathe our day with awakening to the synchronicities that Spirit sends us to awaken to our oneness with all life, with all creation, with all wildlife, with all animals, with all children, with all beings. To allow us to seek our oneness in all people, to allow us to seek our love within all people. And as I seek the oneness of my Christ consciousness, then I'm able to open and access multidimensional communications of sending and receiving to all councils that I'm meant to work with. Thank you, creators. Through my higher self and my soul as the gatekeepers, I only allow in energies that are of the highest benevolence. All other energies, please be blind and return back to source. I only choose to work with those energies of my highest intentions through the councils of light, through my guides, and through my soul as the gatekeepers. Please, all other energies, be blind and return back to source. For this space and this time is sacred. My bodies are sacred, my breath is sacred, and I get to choose who I entangle with and who I dance with. I get to choose who I love and how I love. I get to choose that through my choice of body, mind, heart, spirit, and soul, through my higher self and through my soul, that I am in the empowerment of my own sovereignty as source creator. And I get to discern truth for me, and I get to discern the wisdom for me, and I get to discern my life's direction for me. There is no other authority besides me and source creator that is needed and required. And we thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. And we call in the highest gods to bless us and bathe us, to be open to new information, to be open to new wisdom. And we bathe it to the fields, and we bathe it. And you feel the energies grounding through your root chakra and through your pillar of light, and just ground yourself into Gaia, because we want to receive her energies and wisdoms as well. And we thank you for this opening prayer and clearing and cleansing. Thank you. And the alignment to our higher selves, and the alignment to our souls, the alignment to our sovereignty of who we are as commanders of our own reality. And as we open as a sacred tribe, as we open as a sacred community, we allow our hearts to ever thread and entwine together, which means that as we awaken to our own soul's destiny, as we awaken to our individual soul's destiny, we allow the threads in the ethers to start threading intentions for us to work together in whatever way and however we choose to do so. And this means that it's now, future now moments, remember, that you can be sending out intentions to create something of your own that you wish to create through the sacred threads of who we are, in alignment of light programs and the destinies, preparing for universal oneness, preparing for galactic oneness, preparing for universal oneness upon planet Earth, within our communities and our collectives. So we thank you for this beautiful activation. Thank you. And part of the morning alignments are so really powerful as your bodies awaken, the subtle bodies that you work within, the magnetic fields that you awaken within, because those are the first communication, besides the heart chakra. Your subtle bodies are your communication vehicle to all outside world, meaning that if you're an empath or a crystal child, or any type of experience within your DNA that allows you to use your bodies and your fields as a healing mechanism, you've come with amplified energies to feel certain energies within the collective that you're meant just to clear and heal. And why many of you, when your fields, your subtle fields turn on, it's a completely, entirely different experience, because you then start feeling the collective energy of humanity. And my subtle fields turned on when COVID first was announced. And it was an incredible, I was on the floor every day for 2 weeks, trying to figure out what was going on, because I am an empath and I am connected with Gaia and her grids and the children. And it was just a huge, incredible process of figuring it out on my own and trying to scramble around and connect with my teams. At that same time, there were also experiences in my personal experience where there were many beings that were using their own inner experiences to send me negative and debilitating energies through different experiences of Earth, games and things that were being played out. And it was the most challenging time of my life, and I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. And it was very, very damaging to me. And I send love and forgiveness to all of those that has been in the experience of these contracts that continue to play, games of using energy as manipulation and control and fear, because they're very real. And those people that choose to play out those energies assist those of us that are meant to assist and heal, to work with the different bodies and different fields, to align with our higher selves and our power of our own consciousness. The power of our consciousness is that, again, the reality that you experience is all based on your consciousness. And why? Your vibration is everything. Aligning every day with your intentions, with your purity of your heart, and communing with all the spirits and nature as often as possible will help your subtle fields readjustments and resets. Doing your daily clearing 2 or 3 times a day when your subtle fields just turn on. And pay attention to when your subtle fields feel really inhibited or pressed. It just feels like a pressing feeling or a pulling feeling. Meaning that because of your subtle fields and any contracts that you have in your circle, those beings are energetically, emotionally, mentally, physically connected with you. And that's why we said in our show the other day that when you share your body with those, with anybody, with you, when you share your body and your life force and your fluids and all of those things that go in intimate connections, when you're sharing it with those people, you're also taking on any energies and entities that they may be connected with that they don't even know about, that are just a mixture of entire consciousness groups and entities that really clog up your systems if you're not understanding who you are and what you are and why you have the fields and the energies that you do. And why I chose 10 and a half years, just about 11 years ago, to be celibate. And so for 11 years now, I've been purifying my fields and working with them as I've been awakening. And it's very important for me. This is just a personal experience. It's very important for me now that how much I know about energy to, to really be selective about my space and my energy field and how I share my heart, because it's a powerful experience to carry the Christ consciousness, and I want to use it for the highest healing capabilities. And those times where I was experiencing those contracts of, there were stories within my field that I had to clear about persecution and energy manipulation that have happened in other timelines and other galactic experiences. And there's many of you that, I've seen so many posts, and we've had it in our Facebook, and we're moving away from those stories now because we're entering into 5D, where we're all moving in the story of understanding of our oneness. And why those stories never end in positive ways. They just add so much karma and, spell work and things like that. If they're not done through the most benevolent shamans that understand spell work and doing it for healing, not for the manipulation of outcomes, not for the manipulations of using it on others without their knowing and their free will. And we've often posted in our Facebook, understanding the right use of will is very paramount, because in all of our timelines that have been very detrimental have been because we did not honor the right use of will. And energy was used in very malevolent ways. And it can be used in malevolent ways when you share your bodily fluids, because it used to be in varying timelines that I was shown, life force was used as a control mechanism. And we all know, we've come from human experiences long enough to know that we've all played parts, small and minor and major, in how we use our bodies as manipulational tools. And we're meant to return to the center of who we are and start living as sacred, if you so desire. It's always free will. But that you align yourself with sacred power, and you align yourself with the sacred spiritual essence of who you are when you start honoring all of what you are in that way. Honoring your voice is sacred, that your voice speaks for the sacredness of your body. Your voice speaks for the sacredness of your new intentions as being spirit, and speaking as spirit, and radiating as spirit. And to honor your body in your own truth and have it be honored in that way. And when you start speaking in your spiritual voice and honoring it in that way that makes you feel sacred, then you'll allow that to also be illuminated to others, to take really sacred care of their bodies and have that radiate to the children. So if they are ever in a position where there is control or manipulation or harm to their bodies, or vulnerability to their bodies, then they have that strength to say no, and know that they are the commandmentship of all that they are as light, body, mind, and spirit. And they will be protected and guided as such. But we've never had those experiences in 3D because we've given our power away to everything outside of us, and it's left us, wondering and seeking everything outside of us for who we are. And all that we are as spirit is within. And to garner that alignment with spirit through our choices and our knowing of who we are as spirit, that our consciousness creates that reality we want to experience. And it's very sacred. It's a sacred gift. Thank you. Thank you. The beautiful babies, thank you. They're showing us that the beautiful sacred energies of when we're born, it's perfection. It's so perfection. But then when we get inserted into the wombs, and the wombs come with different energy stories and lineage, Akash that they have to heal. And the mothers always go through emotional, mental, physical stories that they're healing, which directly, harmonizes with the fetus. And so we're inserted into all of these little boxes with varying stories of energy that we have to transcend to find our own uniqueness of who we are. And that's everybody's unique journey. That's what awakening is. To release all the vibrational stories that don't suit who you choose to be in this now moment. And while aligning with your highest and your best through intention and affirmation, I align with my highest and my best. My highest destiny, I'm in alignment with my higher self. And just saying it throughout the day, I am in alignment with my higher self. My higher self speaks and lives through me. I choose to co-create from a centered place. I choose to co-create from a place of oneness and altruism for me and my bodies and my community. Then you end up seeking those experiences, and your body starts becoming entrained to that experience. Your body and your cells start listening to you. My body and my cells are seeking the light. I know I am light through breath. And you just start entraining yourself to live as a sacred vessel. And why you begin to make choices that are more honoring of you in all ways. You know, your circles, your vibration, what you allow yourself to watch and listen to, the energies of your threaded experience. You know, what are you willing to invest in? What is taking too much of your energy, emotionally, mentally, physically, or energetically, to stories you just don't want to play in anymore? And you have that right, that sovereign right. Then you get to begin to experience that vibrational reality, because you're intending and focusing on it. You're directing your attention on it. And you're allowing anything that does come up that is of the older vibrations, you accept it and you honor it as a part of your story. And you get to pull the lessons and the wisdoms out of it, and then you get to create in a new way. And that's why we have the minutia of the Vesica Pisces. Everything is now. And everything is a movement of, you know, what was done yesterday, if you will, but it's all now. And the systems are just releasing itself. And if it's coming forward, there's something in your field that needs to be healed and accepted. You know, as Jesus was showing me, you know, can you love what you thought you hated? And you thought was abhorrent, or you thought was disconnected from you. That's the process of oneness. We've created everything on our planet. And why I had to go through what I went through in those Akashic experiences, because they were connected to many, many timelines where energy was used as manipulation. And those stories come to us as, you know, it caused great harm to me in a multidimensional way. And it's the hardest wound that I have to heal. For this lifetime. I had so many beings from all over the universe, you know, helping me repair and heal what was done. And it was that experience that allowed me to, you know, Master Jesus says that, which totally just is one statement, just changed my whole experience. You know, he says, you are in control of your consciousness. Nothing and nobody can touch you and take your power away from you. But it's the stories that we just give away our power to others, and they come in little tiny ways. You know, when you and your partner are out for dinner and they just order for you without asking you. There's those little tiny things you can start reclaiming your power and say, no, I choose to do this now. And thank you for allowing me my sovereignty and independence to start leading my life in a way that's serving me. And those are done in ways of money. You know, when certain people in the family control the money and they don't provide any information or access to you know, any parts of the running of a joint relationship. You know, transparency is so key, because then you allow that equal power and that fairness and equality to be sustained. And those were many of my lessons, you know, just giving my power away to systems and traditions that weren't me. They weren't my stories, but I gave my power to it. And I learned very valuable and painful lessons that I'm healing from now. You know, I held myself back for so many years because of the dense lessons that were a part of the lineage that I've come to heal for all divine feminine that had just, you know, innately given their power away. And each and every one of you listening have had divine feminine bodies where you have given your power away. You were subjugated and persecuted, or, you know, blocked from your success, or blocked from the inheritance of who you are as sacred and special and a leader. Many women throughout our entire timelines were great leaders and great healers and great teachers, but were so suppressed and subjugated under the ego dominant experience. And it's just a part of our creative reality. And we're healing all of those stories now. We're coming together as a sacred unity and saying, okay, well, if we're preparing ourselves for grander global oneness and galactic oneness, how can we really release these ideas that think we have any control over anyone? Because we don't. There's no one that has authority over you, no one. And how do we allow the everyday minutiae to be of a higher vibration of sacred honor, so that everything is transparent? And if it's not transparent, then what is being hidden and why? And that's when you can choose. I choose not to be a part of, you know, hidden motives. I don't choose to be a part of those experiences and stories that continue to run in lack of transparency. And all businesses in our 3D, all medical, all pharmaceutical, especially pharmaceutical, you know, all of the hidden systems. What did they say this morning? The system-wide changes are going to allow so many of us to step up and start infusing light and integrity and benevolence that serves the all. Because there's so much in our system stories, they're not there anymore. But as we start focusing on the reality that we want to create a consciousness through our raising of our consciousness, our intention of our consciousness, we start bringing down those systems automatically, and we start wanting to create something new. Or they're saying, we just start creating new systems and we don't even worry about what was. Because that is a higher vibrational momentum. They're showing me it has much more momentum when we just start creating our own. Those systems will sort themselves out for those people that want to stay and fix those systems, which will be, again, we're going through system rebuild. So the system rebuild and the stability rebuild means that there'll be those that really want to stay and get excited about fixing those systems and really inventing them and reinventing them new. There will be those that want to stay in those systems and still keeping them in old systems, because everyone has a part to play based on where their soul wants to experience and explore. There is no good or bad. Those energies of wherever you are at or anyone is at, their soul wants to experience that, because the last lifetime they came here as a healer and they didn't experience that. They want to experience that experience through source, and they have that free will. Spirit will still show them through their higher self. Are you sure you want to do that? Because that will create karma for you, and there will create an immediate return, especially with our accelerations. You know, Spirit will try and always, you know, step in. Spirit is always sending us guidance. It's always, but if we're not connected with our higher self and our teams, we're going to miss the guidance. When you have those gut feelings say, are you sure you want to do what you're going to do? You know, when you have that time to step back and say, okay, no, I'm not going down that path, and your teams will realign you. And in your morning affirmations, ask your teams to realign you to your highest destiny. Realign me with the choices and with the visions and with all that I'm able to see that are my highest and my best. Allow me to receive from the heavens what I'm meant to receive. Because nobody and nothing can block you from your destiny that is with source. Nobody and nothing has authority over you. Nobody can block you. Nobody can trajectory your path away. You, in your alignment of you, allows you to stay in destiny with you. And there are infinite beings and ancestors and angels, Lord Michael and the angels from the heavens. They are all allowing and honoring to make sure that the plan through the divine mind and through the mother, father, and all of Ascension evolutionary programs will be met. You have no idea the amount of consciousness that are here helping humanity to ensure that evolutionary processes are allowed as free will. And those that come to choose to explore blocking and controlling free will of others, their souls want to experience those lessons, those soul lessons. And we honor those experiences, because through them we get to see what not to do. And we've been played the roles of victim. So again, because those were in my Akash to clear for other timelines, the lesson for me was to release the idea that anyone has control over you or authority over you, especially being divine feminine, especially being someone that has intelligence and wisdoms and energy that I want to share and help heal the world, as many millions of other women do. Just to clear those stories that are in the Akash and say, I'm not playing those stories anymore. I've acknowledged it. I've accepted it as a part of me. And I've allowed those energies to become a new part of me so that I can create a new way. Once you acknowledge those karmic stories, those Akash stories, you don't choose to play them anymore, and you're off that karmic wheel and you're into a new. And so that's why so many of us as a collective level, you know, we're getting off those ideas and those fear-based notions and just have everything as neutral. Nobody has control over you. And you start entraining your bodies and your systems, that your mind will only be entrained to hear the highest energies from your higher self, that your heart will be open to the highest energies of love and light, that you as a system of light know what feels good and what doesn't feel good, and your discernment in your bodies and your fields will show you how to discern truth and how to discern schemes and how to discern what feels good, what doesn't, what insurance companies to go with, what insurance companies not to go with. So you have those intuitive sentings that your teams are always guiding you to, and you get those synchronicities and you get those hits of benevolence to move into those companies that are really trying to work within higher values and integrity. And then you start releasing the stories that just take up too much space, and you don't have to invest in them anymore. You don't have to worry about those stories even being active anymore. You surrender them to source. I've learned from these stories, and every morning, you know, intend that. I surrender all stories that keep me limited. I am not a victim. I will not be perpetrated. I will not be taken from and stolen from, and my energy fields will be beautiful and sacred. And the many beings that are assisting me and helping me repair everything that had occurred. And just continue that honoring of who you are as light. And that is, in and of itself, how we will be assisting all of those that have gone through their earthly lifetimes. Oh, the birdies are just so beautiful out there. Those that have gone through, you know, early childhood abuse and trauma. And because we're all one, and we're all meant to help and one another heal through those. And all of the children and all of the beings that have been, you know, sexually abused and trafficked and all of those things, those are those stories that each and every one of us as a collective begin to heal. And each and every one of us can. They're showing me that in your morning clearing and in your morning connections, just release those stories of control and trauma. And anytime that you have noticed and recognized in your path, because your teams will always download to you what you're clearing. And it's always linked at a collective level as well. And usually for those of us that are on the front line in the healing and the leadership, we've gone through all of our own inner abuses and traumas and other timeline traumas, so that we are ready to help those as collective things unfold. Like for the many travesties that have occurred for the children, we've already gone through all of that clearing so that we can help the children in the collective. So when you are going through those traumas of early abuse or other timelines where you were abused or persecuted or subjugated or any of those controlling energies, you're clearing the controlling energies every day. I clear all stories that are holding me in any type of control, lack, or limitation, and just clear it. Every day, put it in your intentions. I choose to release any controlling limitation stories in my field, in my bodies. I'm a free sovereign being and I'm one with Source Creator. I'm a free sovereign being and I'm one with Source Creator. I am free. Nobody has authority over me. Nobody dictates for me. I get to choose who and how I live. I get to choose who and how I love. I get to choose what's in my highest and best. I have sovereign entitlement to my spiritual path, to my physical path, to my emotional path. And I get to choose from that what feels good for me, because I choose from my heart, and I'm no longer going to compromise my light based on old stories that just harm. And so those intentions of aligning your highest truth allow you that leeway and that clearing way to just connect and attach, connect and pave the way vibrationally for those threads that you want to really create with, and just call those codes down. Remember, clearing first, intention, and then you manifest. So clearing, new intention, setting your vibration with Source Creator. Be staunch in your service to light. I am staunch in my service to light. Nothing can sway me. Nothing can take me off course. I'm not going to fall victim to other people's motives or, hidden agendas, especially with those that are, when we're coming from, our whole world is being reset and reborn. It's really, really exciting. And as you awaken, you get to feel into, if you're moving through any job offers or any contracts or, these grander companies that are trying to infuse higher vibrational programs, but their contracts are still outdated and not of highest integrity. And there's always the little fine print, as everybody always says, read the fine print. There's a reason why they say that, is because there's usually something in there that will capture you into something that is not of your highest and best. So that is what's changing. We shouldn't have to make sure we read the fine print. We shouldn't have to. It should just be an honoring system. But there are still those companies and systems that are being rewritten and reborn, restabilized. Because as our consciousness raises, we have to raise the value and the integrity of all that we're moving through. And that's the natural progression of higher consciousness. Just as our science, thank you, Spirit, our science and our integrity and our intelligence will be more based on the higher self, what the higher self can download to us in, moments of our sacred communion, because that's the highest energy we have. It's not from reading a textbook and doing the same studies over and over again, because that's just regurgitating limited experiences. There's so much that the councils from all over creation want to offer us into who are we as science and physics? Who are we as light? How can we harmonize and really create a beautiful world that doesn't have any harmful stories that harm or hurt anyone? We're living as energies of love and light, energies of love and light. We're all love and light. The level of consciousness that we each hold dictates what reality we experience. And so just affirm, I choose today to be of higher consciousness. I choose to allow to release all old stories, and I'm one with everybody within all stories, so that you're not holding any dissension or anger. I'm already clearing. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Wow. And you're releasing yourself from the illusion of those stories and just honoring all people, because those people that created those experiences of you that were harmful, they're your star brothers and sisters that came to play that specific role so that you could remember your consciousness of the Christ, that nobody can touch your consciousness. They're the mind control and the fear control systems that have been plaguing our planet from the beginning of time are no longer valid, because the light consciousness is just light consciousness, and it will bathe and show everything that how integrity has been lacking. And living in the sovereignty is the most important experience on planet Earth, because that allows us our oneness, to see it all as oneness, and you can just see it all transparently. Then you get to choose. Again, there is no judgment to it. It's a game. It's a beautiful game of ballet of energy, and not a game of winning and losing. It's a game through source creator of vibrational choice. And you get to choose. Your vibration is everything. So allowing your vibration to be it. And then you get to connect with all of the beings that want to also be it with you. And so honoring all souls. And so what their message was today is the honoring of all souls in everything along the way, every experience along the way, and honor it. Even if they're challenging, and even if they're harmful, and even if they're going through really tough times, those souls that created those experiences are learning. They're learning because they've been traumatized. They're learning because of the games and the stories that they were inserted into that they're trying to release themselves from. So we're all a family of one that is now seeing the effects of how such things play to one another, you know, and how it affects it didn't just affect me, it affects the children. It affects the collective, you know, and how light was held back from me giving to the collective, you know, and how that story for me was, you know, I still get those pings in my heart, you know, because of the experiences. And we just get to see and live from a higher vibration, that we're just one, and it wasn't necessary. You know, it wasn't necessary. They cleared out the stories. It allowed me to be more conscious of my fields and my bodies. It allowed me to stand in higher control of my oneness with Spirit and Jesus and all of the beings that are with me, to take greater care of my fields and my bodies, to know that my consciousness and my evolution of me is all in my hands, and allowing me my greater voice so that I can also share with all children, with all people that are also going through similar experiences of varying types of story energies that you can just take yourself out of and not play those roles anymore, and those characters. You know, you were inserting yourself in these stories that you thought at that time is what you wanted, and now you can say, I don't want to play that character anymore because I get to choose. I'm not going to relinquish my authority and my control just because you want me to play a character for you. No, you can find other people to play those characters. I choose to be who I am, and I choose to be this in my vibration. And then you set those vibrational boundaries, you set those vibrational tones as you working with source. And then you align with that every morning. That's your center. I walk with source, I walk with source, I walk with source. And everything that is not source will be laid before you for you to see. No. And everything that is source will also be laid before you. And that's the game, a vibrational game. And there's everything in between, the shades of gray, everything in between. But you get to choose as a sovereign being, and always align with that. I call in my spirit guides, I call in the highest angels, I call in source creator, call up my soul, I call forward I live as my higher self, and I'm choosing what's best for me. And I can see everything within that fine print before that contract even hits the table. Because your field, remember, your subtle fields will tell you what's coming before it comes. Your intuition, your soul, your teams, and your guides will be showing you, and they'll be guiding you and leading you to, you know, take extra care with this document. You know, really get excited about this document. You know, read this document with fine-tooth comb and 3 and 4 times, and, you know, go see a lawyer. So they'll show you. You always have free will, right? You always have free will. But your teams will show you, and that's when, you know, the red flags, if you will, of what's happening in your field. It could be a very big clearing we talked about before, is the collective clears their energy of all of the collective awakening at once. All of the mass awakenings, they're like energetic bursts. The whole collective releases these huge densities from the collective chakras, because Earth has chakras as well. So as she's going through adjustments, as the collective is going through adjustments, and all of the beautiful light that's being bathed upon us, we all are clearing and cleansing. Even all of the experiences of every single person on this earth is being bathed with light, and every person will be releasing densities. And if they're not balanced and understanding who they are as a male and female and balancing themselves every day, sometimes those experiences in our outer reality are seen as chaos and disorder or harm and aggression, because they're not balanced in their receiving and responding as spirit. They're just still reacting out of fear and control of the ego. And so those are normal processes of everything being bathed in light. And stories that each soul has to work out. What character do I get to play? How can I rewrite my story? How can I recreate stabilization in my life? Because order is stable. So we're going from a chaotic, disordering, destabilized experience. We're now choosing from a spirited place, and we're now creating order and stabilization. And we're being gifted the great amount of tools and the beings and the consciousness that we have to work with. We've never had more help than we do now. So call upon all that you can for the help that you need to stabilize your experience, because so many are moving through, every family will move through transitions of energy. because every soul within that family has a unique soul destiny. Many planets on higher vibrational planets, the children leave their home at the age of 3, and they go explore their world because they come with that innate knowing of what they're there to do, and they're nourished and they're honored and they're valued, and they don't have an education system because they're already connected with source. They know what they need to know when they need to know it, and they don't have to be taught or shown. And we're moving there. Those are things within our future that we're going to be connecting with. When you allow yourself to be connected with source, as within the center of every atom, the universe is available to you. But the limiting perspectives and beliefs have said we're not. We have to go through university and all of these education systems that only regurgitate experiences that are very limited. Why not open up and create universal learning systems that are quite creative and allow the whole DNA of all that we are, multidimensionally, to be infused in all aspects, which is where we're going. We're going to this open, creative experience to learn from and to explore from. And doesn't that sound more exciting? How many of us are parents and we hear our children every day, when I go to school, I mean, they don't like it at all. Who likes school? So why do we do it? Why do we do it? Why can't we create something better? We can. So let's start. Isn't that great and exciting? And just value all experiences in between, because those experiences teach you the lessons that you need to know to help others. Those lessons that I had that were very painful and traumatic for me, they taught me so much in so many ways, and I'm still learning. Every day I learn. Every day I learn about my bodies and light, the capacity of light, the nourishment of light. I learn so much, and I'm reminded on so many levels. And all of the teams are learning as well. They're thank you, teams. They're always with me and helping me and allowing me, because it's my intention. I want to entangle with the highest vibration of light and heal and nourish myself as the planet. And so they're constantly with me, because as I equal that intention of experience, they are with me as well. And they're amplifying my understanding of the ecosystem and Gaia's energy with light. So that is, they're showing me right now, a version of me in another. Thank you. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Spirit. They're showing me the councils that I work with in another frequency just off from now. It's a near experience for me. Thank you, Spirit. Of light wisdom and light healing, on how light and ultraviolet and gamma rays and are assisting the healing of bodies and spirit and energies, the spiritual body that are harmed through different experiences. And that's why we offered as well. So they wanted me to go back to the Pleiades. As a role that I have in the Pleiades, I help balance children and their bodies before they are allowed to galactically travel. Because we have to be balanced in our multidimensional bodies of all that we are as divine male, divine father energies of the will, and the mother energies as receiving in the seed of life, and honoring all of that. We have to. The children are brought up in the knowing at the various earliest ages of who they are as multidimensional beings and how to balance their bodies and their systems so that they are able to travel outside the planet. They have to know that. Because you wouldn't want to go into a system that you have no idea about, and then your imbalance creates greater imbalance to a pristine experience that was very pristine and sacred. And there would be no benefit to that on any part. So it's very sacred. You as a multidimensional being are very sacred. You were born perfect. You were born sacred. And whatever stories you were inserted in of lack of or less than, or you were torn and beaten out of your perfection and your beautifulness, you can now start inserting in yourself and creating that new story for yourself to remember yourself as beautiful and perfect, so that you can prepare your body for on and off world travel. And of course, more often than not, before we get to on and off world travel, just prepare yourself to have an enjoyable life where you are spirit. You're living a spirit. And all people in all stories are sacred. Those ones that hurt you and harmed you, they're sacred. They're sacred because they taught you to stand in your strength. They taught you to be this person and this beautiful radiance that you are now. So honor it. They contracted at that level, and they showed me a long time ago that those that are the most challenging, they take on that really hard contract. They don't, when they come into this earth, they don't know they do. Nobody would want those, those experiences. They take those on to show us, you're powerful, go for it. Go for it. I'm going to be your biggest challenge, and I want you to go for it. Because at the soul level and higher self level, we're all love. We do it, we change roles back and forth. So that's why we can let go of the stories and the petty stories that place blame on people and never let them out of it. Forgive, because the last lifetime you were that for them. and you were holding them down, forgive. You have no idea the roles you're playing. So just forgive it and move on. Forgive it and move on, 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 forgive it all. I remember I was just speaking with Jesus, and I was saying, what about this experience? What do I do with this? And Jesus said, just forgive it. I said, but what do you mean? You don't know how important this was for me. And he says, just forgive it. You have no idea. You're infinite light, girl. You're infinite light. So be it. You forget who you are. You forget. You're infinite light. You're eternal. You're one with God. You have infinite access to love. Your heart is a pouring vessel of love. You have so much love inside of you that you can create a new reality right now. And I'm saying, yeah, but what about? We get so stuck on those little petty things that cause us so much pain and trauma. And that's because we have earlier stories that were also that as well. Where you weren't heard in the home and you were put down for your creative gifts, or you were not nourished and you were not held, loved. And so in that, we hold on to the most little petty things because that little child wants validation. That little child wants love. So that's when you play the mother and the father and you give it to yourself. And heal thyself and forgive thy name. Forgive thy name. Forgive all. And it's a beautiful game where you can then move on to another game piece and you can have that updated energy and those updated codes. Because when you release that density, the universe is right there and there's more light. There's more codes. There's more excitement. There's more playtime. And you get new people and new beings coming in and say, wow, I just created that. I manifested that. That's awesome. Look at me as a creator with Source. When you align with Source as creator, you don't have any of the little stories that hold you back and pull you back into limitation. And you're less than, you're lack. You can't do anything. And you say, yes, I can. I'm infinite with Source. You create your way and I'll send you light and I'll create my way. And you just all is one. It's all the same story, just a different version, different room in the house. And I'm going to go play over here in this side of the house. You all have the many mansions of Source. And depending on what room you go into is that vibrational experience based on your desire and intention to awaken to your highest consciousness. Because it's infinite. Reclaim your power to be that. I reclaim my power to walk in the consciousness of Source. Source, not limiting stories that I've been taught and told through dogma systems that are all breaking up now. They're not there anymore. It's in a complete illusion. What was yesterday is not today. And so set that intention when you go to bed at night. Clear your fields, set the body of beauty, set the body to have your cells in commandment of your intentions and your affirmations, and call in light and have your teams bathe you every night. I'm being bathed by the highest Metatronic Christic light. I'm being bathed. I'm returning to myself as Source. I'm returning to myself as a goddess. I'm returning to myself as walking one with Source Creator. And I get to envision myself in all levels of creation. And I get to be with all the councils. So they said to me this morning, which was really fun, they were just saying, okay, just sit and just be this open vessel. And I just felt this incredible flow because I had a clearing last night, and I had this incredible flow through the Christ that was just flowing through the center of me. And the last time I really felt that was when I was in Japan. And this beautiful flowing of energy that's just flowing through me because of that clearing that I did from all of the pains that shut me down, that self-preservation that your chakras just automatically do. And every child does it when they get to school, because as soon as you get to those systems that are outdated, that really need to be revamped in every way, as best as the teachers try and do it, the foundation of it is just, it needs to be completely rebuilt in new light. And because they're taught judgment, they're taught grading, they're taught, when they put up their hand to answer a question, they taught the judgments of all others that are working in their own unique consciousness, which is separation. And their chakras just start shutting down. So as we said about the Pleiades, and part of my role there was to help the children rebalance their bodies and their systems through self-love and forgiveness and light work and energy work and healing sounds and sacred sounds and Gaia. That will be those healing modalities that all children will need. So as much as you can infuse it for your children, the much as you live in your highest destiny, the much that you rebalance your bodies and show it as an intention and a purpose and a requirement for a safe and loving and happy home, you will see the difference in the children also take on that ownership if they so choose. And releasing your need to direct them on how you think they should live their life. Allow them to take greater control and always return it back, as Jesus, taught me. Well, what do you think? What does your heart show you? Where's your heart guiding you? Always return those questions back so that they can begin renewing themselves as their own highest guidance with Source. They don't need to look anywhere outside of them for answers or Google it. When the kids want to answer a question, they Google it. They don't return within. So allow them to return to who they are within is their greatest asset, to know that they are sovereign, that they are divine, that they are sacred, because they forget all the wisdom they hold within. And then they rely on these outdated systems and stories that some person that didn't even really know posts some comment on Google. They're not spirit and source working in their highest and their best. So why would we trust it? So always return each and every person back to thyself. What you think, what you feel, is that your belief? That belief is dictating your level of consciousness. So up your beliefs. It's infinite. I'm one with source. There are no walls and ceilings. I can do anything. That's a great place to start. I'm infinite. That's a great place to start, because you're calling out that information from your intention and your knowing. My belief is infinite. Okay, so if that's true, let's go. Let's go, source. Mama wants a big life. And source is like, finally, you're shining. You're meant to shine. We knew this of you. So now you start being it. Start being it so you can show your children that when you did those experiences on Pleiades, you're showing your children that's really important. You allow your body to be your greatest tool. Your emotions, your multidimensional systems are showing you. Rely from within. Heal thy name from within. You are all that you need as a beautiful experience of source, and then go create. Know that first, as my name is, then you create. And as they were showing me those experiences, is that's what we're doing on our planet now. We're preparing our multidimensional bodies so that we can prepare ourselves for infinite travel on world and off world. But we need to heal ourselves first. We wouldn't want to go outside when we have all of these fear blockages in our chakras about not being safe. You would not be able to travel. I mean, there's people that are like that right now. There's so much fear about the virus that they're not traveling at all. Those are packets of fear that need to be released and cleared. There's no fear. There's no fear. You can still be consciously aware and listen to your teams and guides, but you don't have to inhibit and suffocate energy through outside stories that have nothing to do with who you are as source. Your DNA may never even attract that virus because your vibration is just too high. It's your consciousness level of awareness that says, what can I train my cells to create, not create? If it's in your soul story to experience a certain illness, that illness is meant for you to experience. However, in your awakened consciousness, you can say, like my team showed me about a month ago, if there is something in your DNA, like genetic diseases and things like that, it's predisposed to your genetics and predisposed to your family, all of those things, we're uprooting all of that. Those are old ideals that don't match anymore. They just don't. They don't match our grids. They don't match our DNA. They don't match our light. You can choose to say, if this is a predisposed experience in my family, heart attack and heart disease, whatever they might be, it doesn't matter what the names are. If this is, say, predisposed, I can start right now calling it into source, and I can start bathing it out of my experience. That's a story, that's not mine. And I can start retraining my cells and my body and my DNA, and have your teams work with you. And say, teams, what do I need to do to rewrite that story? Because I rewrite a story where my body is brand new every day. I rewrite my story where I don't age as I thought those stories that I was told within. No, I have absolute control over how I age. I have absolute control over my cells. I have absolute control over the synapses. I have control of it. I'm not taking somebody's story that says, oh, you're predisposed to this. So that's your story. I'll create my own. This is what we're now finding in our reality. It's okay. We get to choose who we are with source. All moments, all moments, all moments. And release the need to Google everything. Be that of you. Be that of thy healing of thy name. You are a sacred being of source. Everything within your name is sacred. You are a sacred vibrational song of source. You just are. So if you tap into what that really feels like, so they're saying for me to remind those that are new, when we say and offer those experiences, it is a vibrational truth. What does that mean for you? As Jesus would say, what is your belief about that? That's a vibrational experience. That's the Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness means that there is light and codes within thy name. What does that mean for you? Can you walk with honor and greatness in that? My name, wow, that's a great name. I'm going to start walking with light in that name. Because wow, when I say it, every cell is paying attention. And whatever predisposed stories, I'm bathing it right now and I'm surrendering its source, because those stories do not belong to me. I am new and I am powerful and I am profound. And I'm not giving my power away to limiting stories that told me I was less than and lack. My cells are perfect. My cells are perfect. Now I'm going to spend 5 to 10 minutes 3 times a day. My cells are perfect and I'm youthful and I'm beautiful. And I'm activating my Pleiadian, my Sirian, my Arcturian, my Orion, my universal DNA, my universal light. And as I breathe, I'm calling in light. And I'm reversing those stories and I'm taking them right out. You get to choose. Make a wish. Be happy. Be loving. Be patient. We're going through a whole restabilization. It's just like they're showing me these kids walking through. I remember how exciting it was the first day you get to high school. Wasn't that really exciting? We all have those moments of memory. This is one of these times they're showing me. We're all walking through the high school, and the high school just seems so big, right? When you come from elementary school or middle school, and then you go into high school, it's like, wow, the school is so huge. How am I going to find my class? And the school feels big and it smells new, and you're just seeing all these new faces that you're really excited but kind of fearful in the same time. It's no different than that. When we're going through a restabilization, it's like going into a new school. What you were taught in that old school doesn't exist anymore. You might pull pieces, and most often than not, when you ask the children, what did you learn from last year? Can you remember anything? They say, I don't remember anything. It's not important. See what we're saying? Schools will be redundant. They will have, I've got all of these beautiful experiences and ideas that I want to help bring higher vibrational capacities and potentials. But that's what we're saying. There's very few and very little that the children remember that they bring with them. Their intelligence is so far beyond what we think what we're teaching them and keeping them in capacity holding spaces. Because that's like we're just keeping them in these holding tanks that are not allowing them to explore their vastness and their greatness. But that's our process of restabilizing. How can we really open up to who we are as source and start there? That's where we start. We start as source. That's how we rebalance. But they're showing me that excitement that you're walking through the halls and you're saying, well, you get into class and all of a sudden the teacher just says, okay, this is how we're going to go about this class. And the teacher in your classroom and your teacher from last year in that one subject, say science or literature, the teacher, you're just like, holy cow, that's nothing like what it was last year. This is where we're at right now. It's nothing like what it was. It's different. It's new. So be excited about it. Celebrate it. We're meant to be that way. We're meant to allow our bodies and our minds and our consciousness and our hearts to be the benevolent story of who we are, and to keep going with it and rebalance it when it needs rebalancing, give our bodies time. The other thing that they wanted me to offer was honor the souls of everybody in their story. Honor them, because they're all injured and wounded, and they've all caused it, and they've all created it, and they've all been victims of it. So honor all souls, because all souls come with a tremendous trajectory. They all come with a tremendous history. And so all souls, you have no idea what one soul has walked through. So have love and compassion for all souls. And that's why it's so easy to forgive, because I can see the kosh on some of them, and I don't go into them without their higher selves guidance, or spirit being that portal and that guide to me, if I really need it for my own healing. And it's always through the gatekeepers. You never, and that's what, again, using the right use of will. When you are a healer and a teacher of energy and wisdom, most of your experience will be how to use energy benevolently, how to not cross those boundaries and see into timelines and other people's experiences, or just remote view because you can. No, you don't remote view just because you can into somebody's life. You don't. That's crossing the lines of right use of free will. When you awaken as the family of one, it's all transparent. But with the honor and respect of our oneness, you don't do that. You just don't. You give them their privacy and their love of who they are as sacred. You are a sacred vessel, so you want to be treated and treat all others as sacred. And so as you're a spiritual teacher and you're awakening up to all of your gifts, you have all of these gifts that you can tap into and tune into, but you as the soul and what karma and what experiences you heal are exactly your intention. Do you do it to gain access to someone you want access to? Do you do it to control an outcome? Again, it's always about your intention and your relevance. What is your relevance and why are you doing it? So heal that first. Don't create something you're just going to have to clear. It's going to create negative experience and karma for you. So, part of, if you're an energy teacher, if you're an energy healer, you have to go through those experiences through which you open up a gift, and your teams will always test you and the soul will always test you, because you have to atone everything with source. Source sees all. There's nothing that escapes source. And those that are offered those experiences of great leadership and of great healing potentiation, just like Jesus and all masters, they have to go through lifetimes and lifetimes of honoring the systems of light. You don't just ascend and say, I'm going to lead a country. They have to go through eons of systems of training. Because when you have clients sitting in front of you and you can see into every aspect of their life, you have to know how to not. You have to honor the systems of benevolence. You have to honor the systems of light and not remote view just because you can. Those are systems that are breaking down that obviously have not used integrity. Again, return to your source, return to who you are, and know that integrity is everything, because it's a vibration that people feel. You can sense those ones that come to you and absolutely sense your integrity and actually sense all that you are as a being of light, because you hold true to those morals and those integrities, not to remote view. You know, it's transparent, you know, the right use of will. There's many books by Cian, and I've put her on Facebook. She's written a beautiful channeled books. I think she's written 3 channeled books. I don't think she writes anymore. She's an incredible channeler. And Cian, The Right Use of Will. And I think there's 3 volumes. And I've read all 3 of them, love them. And she channeled experiences into various earth timelines and various celestial timelines where the right use of will was not used properly, especially with the Faery collective, and many things that were done with cloning and things like that. And those were the lessons that we've used throughout time. We've learned those lessons, and why those things that are in our Akash, where we do have those experiences of, you know, using spell work and energy work that are not benevolent, that just are used for fear and control and to harm and hurt others. Those are healing other timelines where that was used as well, and why we have to be aware of the all. It's just all source. Before we know that, just remembering those that have those in their energy field where they're feeling fearful of being spell cast and things like that, those are stories just for you to clear and just see as neutral, because you don't have to have it as a fear story anymore. You can just release it. You know, and those were in my field that I had to clear, because there were timelines that those experiences, you know, were very prevalent for me, and I had to clear the fear. And again, as you're a spiritual teacher and you're awakening to your gifts, it's that dominion, as we said, you have to attone everything with source and your guides and your souls and your counsels. Thank you, the ascended masters that I work with. Each soul comes with a group of counsels and beings and guides that you work with. And as your soul's blueprint, your blueprint is your vibrational story that you choose as contracts and promises to add to the value of your soul. Remember, your soul is all lifetimes, all bodies, all forms, all realms, all vibrations. How can I add to the richness of my soul and all else that I'm connected with, all life? Your soul comes with that, themes and things you want to move through and practice and work on and learn and have fun with and enjoy. And in that, you have those experiences that help you do that and stretch it out and stretch that experience out for as best you can for the role that you choose to play. Because as I said, especially in this timeline is unique to no other. This timeline is unique to no other. So this is why this story is unique to no other. Those souls that are choosing a very dynamic play and they've cleared most of their karma, 51% of 3 to 5D of their karma, can now open up to infinite access and timelines to whatever they want to choose to work on. And why? We have to atone to our spirit guides, our souls, our teams, the karmic board, councils of light, everybody that we're threaded with, that we want to work with to assist in the evolution of a species, our planet, the galaxy, the all. And I know that. I can feel the threadings and I know that. They've shown me and I know that. It's just a knowing I come with. And those experiences will show you the various things that you work on through your everyday experiences and why your souls test you. Why you call in those experiences. Say, okay, my higher self is going to test me today. I have a beautiful client today, and I want to expand in the highest, most benevolence. And you do your affirmations, and you align with source in the highest of benevolence, and you're working with your teams and the highest light councils and your gatekeepers. And in that, you become your own gatekeeper with source, your alignment with source, so that you're working and honoring of the right use of will. And there'll be times where you feel, though, especially as your subtle bodies turn on, your subtle fields turn on, and if you have the potential to read Akash and to do Akash, those threads will open up. And then immediately, because you are a multidimensional being, you say and you honor the right use of will, and you just close that thread down. I close that thread down. I don't want access to that. And you, as you become your gatekeeper, as your teams start moving from being your guides to you being your guide, and it's like slowly taking the training wheels off. That's how it feels when you're entering into your mastery. Because at first you just have, like when I first started awakening to my fields in the Akash, there was various experiences I was going through and I had to connect with my teams. Well, what was that all about? You know, and they would show me. So you're just opening up to these fields and you can feel the subtle fields. You can choose as a being what to thread with and what not to. And it's about your focus and your intention. Where's your heart going? So that's where it's so paramount. Your vibration is everything. You don't need to thread with the stories that create timelines. Step out of it. Your worry creates timelines. Your fears create timelines. Those karmic cycles and stories and merry-go-rounds create timelines. The more you focus your attention there, the more that you're creating that timeline. So just know that it exists. It's all neutral. Everything is neutral. And just take yourself out and start creating new. And that's why the council said to me a little while ago, we were talking about the bottleneck. We're now past the bottleneck. And that bottleneck is that some are, it's everybody's at, depending on where they're at. The bottleneck is the because we're going through a restabilization. There's a bottleneck. As we said, our universe is going through an ascension. We're moving up into a new thread of becoming into another universal experience. And our universe is at a bottleneck where a certain percentage of the collective that is awakened is at this stabilizing point, this bottleneck where we have to punch through into new creative experiences, which many of us have done, because of the three conditions that the councils were showing me, the High Council of Nine was showing me, the fear of death, the fear of the unknown, and the transitions that our families are going through. And those three fears make that collective bottleneck. Well, what do we do? We're at this holding place. What do we do? What do we do? Because we've never been here before. Again, this lifetime is like no other. We have so much creative capacity, and we just let those stories go because we know that in the higher spaces, we're all one. There's an infinite number of errors that everybody's transitioning within and without. Every new moment, somebody gets to choose what timeline they want to co-create within. Any new moment, even if those are going through the highest challenges, you can say with your teams, with your purity of your will and everything within you, that's the will of the Father. You need that love of the Mother for the love of you to make alchemy. And you choose with every fiber within you, I want to create this timeline. This is what I'm excited to experience. And with any party and any being that is at that vibrational level with me. Not forcing something to happen with someone, not forcing an outcome with somebody or with something. Again, just vibrate within you. You align with you only, you only, you only, you only. And Source will align you with exactly who you're meant to contract with. Because remember, as a soul blueprint, you come with those that you want to contract with. Because you knew that at some point you would awaken to that level of consciousness. And these beings would also awaken. So there's an infinite number of teams and beings and consciousness and programs where everybody's kind of working together to go through the experience of exploration of the soul and the expression of the soul that they wanted to go through it with. And it's a divine orchestration, and not one person or any group or any being can say, no, that's not your plan. I get to dictate you. No. Those are the right use of wills, and those are those timelines that have been so very damaging and destructive that we're now letting go of. Those stories don't matter anymore. You heal it just to know it's neutral. That's a story in my Akash, and I'm releasing it now to be transmuted because I choose not to be a part of those fear games anymore. I choose not to play a part of the controlling energies. I've learned it. The story, never just like turning the page. I've read the story. It's a part of me. I accept it. I'm honoring it. And now I choose to move forward. And we do that with our children to rebalance all that we are, to say, no, I have full control and power over me. I'm honoring the male and the female. I'm harmonizing within my center. And now I get to create and balance and love and light. And so this soul comes with these many experiences that your soul will just call in what it needs, and your teams are always working with you. And your higher self and your teams will say, okay, team, I'd like to meet with somebody to do this, create this with me. And your teams and then it's up to you to keep that intention of just joyful exploration in that one intention. And just have all of the parts of the puzzle just kind of work itself out. That's Source. That's your divine feminine to receive. So if your divine feminine energy is misbalanced and it's out of balance, then you're going to have a hard time manifesting what you think you want to receive. Because you're saying you're not worthy of it. You're not worthy of receiving. You're not balancing your divine feminine energy to know that your divine feminine energy body is really important to manifesting. You can't manifest without it. It's the creator of the manifesting. It's the seed, the womb. Divine feminine, it's the womb. That's Gaia. Gaia is here to nourish us all. So if you're not allowing yourself to be nourished by your own receiving of it, then that's, that needs to be balanced. And that also leads to our ability to travel on and off world. What beliefs do you hold? What imbalances are there that need to be healed and cleared? We think of, many, many years ago, we were talking about first contact and lightship and connection, all that kind of stuff. And we just thought it was a mere just opening up to contact. No, it's a multidimensional experience that includes our universal allness. And we have to understand our bodies, our chakras, the mechanisms of light and energy that are in all chakras, and the wisdoms that are held in all of our chakras. Because if your chakras are blocked, you're not going to receive the wisdom that's in that chakra. You have great wisdom in that chakra, especially those of us that are Christic speakers and healers and teachers. There's energy and Christic light in those chakras. And that's why it's important that clearing and that understanding of who you are as a being of light, and why that sharing your life force is so really important. Because you want to be of that sacred experience and that sacred balance. Say, no, I value myself now. I didn't value myself because nobody told me I was that important. Nobody told me that I had all this Christ energy in me. I had all this incredible coded energy within me, and I was responsible for activating it. Well, yeah, it's always free will. And don't let any outside energy or any outside being or any outside system or any outside dictation that says, no, you can't do that. You can only be limited in this way. You can't go that far. No, go far as you want. Would you ever tell your children to stay in only one playground? You can't go to that really fun playground that's over there. You can't go. You have to stay here and play on that one slide. No, you want your children to have fun. That's source creator. Go have fun. We just want you to have fun, mother says. And they were showing me yesterday, they were talking about, sports, those that have those that want the metaphors and to relay these energy experiences. Would you want someone that was your best friend? Would you want your best friend who just got an opportunity to go on to this beautiful US team to play at a higher level and a higher caliber with really great players? Would you want your friend to be held back because you didn't want them to leave without you? You didn't want them to play without you. You didn't want them to play on a different team because you think they might have more fun than you. No, you want them to go for it, man. Go for it. Have the best time ever. And, send me pictures. We want the best for one another, because if you hold one another back, you're holding the children back. You're holding evolution back. You're holding the collective back. You don't want to be held back. You don't want stagnancy. Stagnancy is the de-evolution of your cells and your genetics. Then the next time you come around, your genetic form will be exactly where you left it. That's why they were showing me from my Japan clients, that those that live in those family experiences where the mothers and the families, you might not think that they're into awakening. You might not think that they're in ascension, but they absolutely are. They contracted with you. So how can we create socio-altruism for ascension, in that knowing that they know at the higher consciousness level that when you're awakening into your ascension vehicle, your Merkaba and all of your light body, and you're accessing greater light, and you're going to meditation class, you're doing all that's fun for you as the body of light that you are becoming, talking about first contact, looking for light ships, and being excited about who you are as a universal being. They know at the higher self level that when you do so, and you come back into the house to have a family meal, you're opening and you're honoring that light with them from the fields that have been activated through you. So you're offering them that ascension light, even though you might not think they're into meditation. And then those of you that do live in experiences where you live in family dynamics, where you are held in old stories and obligations of lineage and ancestry that says you must take care of your parents and so on and so forth, and very limiting, steeped experiences, you can choose to change those experiences, just infuse light and change bit by bit by having those open conversations. I'm really excited about my spirituality, about my enlightenment, because that is our oneness. You cannot have oneness and full enlightenment without understanding it's a spiritual journey, because we are more spirit than we are matter. We are spirit creating matter. It's not an outside, going to work type of experience. No, you are becoming spirit. You're remembering yourself as spirit through a matter body. And there's energy in all things, your cells, your chakras, your fields, the electromagnetic frequencies on the planet. It's all one. And your family is working within that quantum entanglement. And we have classes that are on that. Understanding quantum entanglement and how your energy vibration and your projections and your feelings about yourself project to those around you. And why, again, you have to focus on your clearing and allow that to be part of your everyday care, so that everybody has access to the light that you radiate. And if those that don't, and if those are in your circle that choose not to open to light and be a part of the journey, then those will be discussions that will be made through which you all have those opening choices to transition. Again, every family will go through transitions. And transition doesn't necessarily mean death. It just means that I'm going to go to a different frequency over here. I'm going to play in this playground over here. You play in that one. We're still one. The higher self knows we're still one. They still have access to the light from a distance, but it's up to them now to seek their own light in their own way if they so choose. It's always free will. And just be okay just allowing all souls to be what they're meant to be, without the control and the mediation of thinking you've got to have an outcome for someone, because you don't. Nobody does. And you wouldn't want to play those games. You really wouldn't. Because it just hinders, and it's like a bottleneck. It just blocks everything. And again, the karmic teams are saying those blocks can come in an infinite number of ways based on your soul and the karmic board and your higher self and the souls that are involved. There could be blocks financially, where jobs are eliminated or infused in different ways that don't serve. There could be blocks with health and wellness. It's whatever that soul chooses at the highest level to bring that block in, to have that person understand the lessons and the learnings. Because blocks can be anything. Blocks can be in your belief systems. Blocks can be in financial. Blocks can be in your wellness. Blocks can be in anything. So again, as you're allowing yourself to be free flowing, it's just so simple, just be free flowing. Let go of the control issues. Let go of anything that you think you have to manipulate and control. Let go of it. Let go of it, let go of it, let go of it. Because it's just keeping you in bottleneck of bottleneck gunk. It's gunk. And it needs to be cleared out. Where's the belief that says you have to control? It's always safety. Okay, we'll go to the bottom of it. There is always safety. You are always safe. You're with source. So then what next? What next fear? You know, and just work through them, because these are all the systems that are breaking down. The systems that told us we weren't safe, the systems that told us we had to give our power away, the systems that told us that we had to earn a certain amount of money to be accepted and to be loved and be honored. No, it has nothing to do with money. No, like, who said you were safe? This is another thing that you showed me. Because the systems, all system-wide changes are changing now. Just understand that affects everything. Again, your family, that you're offering them light, and how can you work out new ways to do things so that you're allowing your light to be greater. And remember, your vibration is everything. And just have family conferences and family circles. Well, how can we all create a win-win? How can we all create a beautiful dynamic so that I can go away to my meditation for 3 days a week, and maybe we'll call Uber services to help, or maybe a house cleaner, maybe someone to help with meals. Call in the brothers and sisters to help out. Those that have always been doing the work are meant to receive now. And those that have always been receiving are meant to give now. There's cycles have to change. That's why we have cycles. So know what your ascension cycle is throughout the month. And usually it aligns with the moon cycles. When are your release periods? When are your integration periods? When are your in-gathering periods where you're gathering new energies? And just plan around that, because that's when you're maximizing your most multidimensional bodies. But that also, the socio-altruistic part of that is that, and all of those blocks that have been creating through all of those stagnant belief systems and relearning new cycles. If someone was the constant taker, they're going to now be the ones that give, which means that perhaps maybe they can come up with ideas on how to create social energies that help many people receive. So these are parts of the all vibrational game that Source was showing us yesterday, that we all have parts to play in and choose from our own free will, not block anybody from their own free will's growth. So that those that were never receiving now have an opportunity to receive, and they just sit in that divine feminine and allow themselves to receive the abundance of source, because source is all things, all abundance. It's always available to us. And then just sit back and allow others to take their soul's point, their soul's growth, their soul's desire to really be a leader and to include in the family and to help the family. Because most often than not, our families are just cycles of routine and habituated experiences that are stagnant and need to be broken up and changed, so that all parts of the family come into lead. All parts of the family are heard. All parts of the family have their free will and their rights observed and honored and respected, not to play outdated roles that don't work in new light. So infuse the light, call in the family for discussions of change and transition, so that every soul has that respect to be who they want to be. And then be okay, again, those 3 things that we're holding up in that bottleneck and why people feel so stagnant. Be okay with that family transition being an infinite number of things. Maybe you create communal living. Maybe you create just selling the house and camping 6 months of the year and going traveling. There's an infinite number of things that can occur in family transition. And each soul has its right to move in its own unique way based on its soul's blueprint. And so be okay with it, allow it, and work with it. How can we work with this? How can we infuse light to say, yeah, that's a great idea? Because you know why? You know why? So exciting. Because what you do in these small family circles is what we do in our collective communities that really need our help. You know, the schooling system. How can we allow the systems of what was broken up to create a new creative education system? That's how we'll be doing it. That is what was. The door is closed and that room no longer exists. So how can we start fresh and start off with infinite? Release what was. Just don't regurgitate old systems. We're going to start fresh. There are no walls. There are no boundaries. We're infinite. Schooling, medicine, holistic healing. Start off fresh. Clear the slate. How can all voices be heard and respected and honored? How can every soul understand and take ownership of its chakra systems as its multidimensional systems and reheal itself, rebalance itself, because its soul is meant to do something profound and allow it. The law of allowance is so profound in universal oneness. Because Source has a plan. Spirit has a plan. Your guides and your teams are constantly showing you what your place within it all is. Trust it. The ego cannot have any idea what Source has in plan for you. There's so many beings working on your behalf to thread you what you deserve and what you need. Because we said earlier, you know, when all those things were happening to me and the experiences that I had been through, and they're hard to talk about, but those experiences were a part of an experience that, yes, I had to clear some of the stories that were in my Akash, and much of it was not necessary. That was kind of over and above what was necessary. The stories and the lessons that I learned from all that was a good part for me to also and power and honor in the collective storytelling. Because when I go through something, it's connected with the collective. And that's why I have the ability to teach it and offer it that way, because it's always micro macro. And that was part of my mission as well, my contract with Source, that anything that I would go through, I would open up to the intelligences that would show me how it's connecting on the collective level, so I can open it up to see how we're becoming more one in our community. How can we allow that love and allowance to create better honoring? And so they were showing me this morning the honoring of all souls, because those that have those projections and judgments about anybody in our collective, you have no idea what they've gone through in other lifetimes, right? You don't know the number, like they were showing, just from my experience, that the souls that judge and the souls that are going through those experiences, they have no idea that how many lifetimes I've come here as a healer and a giver. And this is part of my lifetime where I get to receive. I'm 52 now, you know, I'll be 52 this week. And it's my time right now. I'm in a receivership. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop giving. Every day I wake up, I'm constantly, I have a double and triple mission. So every day I wake up, I'm of service, purely of service. And anything that I get on top of that for a donation, or anything that I ever receive, is always icing on the cake. But my intention is service always. How can I be of higher light today? How can I be a vessel of light today? How may I serve Source? How may I serve Gaia? How may I serve the children? How may I serve my humanity? Always. That's my pure intention. Always, always, always. And days, yes, it's hard, but there's not a day where I don't serve. There's not. It's just 24/7, 24/7. It's in my blood. It's who I am. But those that are of the outer experience of me and that don't know me and have no idea who I am, they have no idea how many lifetimes I've been here, purely of service and of all creation, because there was a big part of my timeline where I come from another universe. And that's why we said earlier, only you are here to atone with Source. Source knows exactly who you are. Source knows exactly where you were in other timelines and how much you give and how much you serve. Source knows exactly where you've been called from and how your light and your experiences can help this planet. Source knows exactly what's going on. Source has it all in all things. Source knows every thought that's going through every mind on everybody on the planet, and all therefore a note. Source knows what's going on. It's not for us to prove or want validation or get a blessing from anybody or try and prove anybody wrong. You're just meant to be a neutral being and be a vessel of light. And whatever stories come up for you to heal, take the lesson and the acknowledgement of it to know you're powerful, to realign within and honor yourself. And have the blessing of your vast soul and your vast experience be the dictation of who you are with Source. That's it. Nobody has to know your inner outer stories. Just atone with you in Source, because I know who I am. I know how much I've cleared. I know how much I've cleared for those that don't even know me. I know how much I've cleared for those that have projected things at me. I know the light that I send. I know the life that I've lived. And Source will continually open up new pathways for me to that, because that is a constant staunchness in light. That's unwavering, as my name is. Not every day is like that. You get those waverings where you're back and forth because you just can only take so much. But now the hardships are over, and now I get to open up into a new cycle, and it's going to be different because now I get to focus all my energies on creating and away from all of the dense stories of victimization, because I've cleared those stories and I choose not to create them anymore. And the heavens are helping me in every way, and the heavens are right in there with me, because all of my focus, all of my intention, and all of my direction is going towards new co-creations. And that's where the heavens help you in measure, equal measure, equal measure, equal measure. And Source is the only one that needs to know, and the councils and the guides and all your ancestors, all of those that are with you in spirit, Gaia, they all know who you are when you walk. When you walk, she hears you, she knows you of your vibration. And that's why I've had those beautiful sacred experiences in sacred land, because she knows me. I've left my vibration here in many timelines. Source knows. That's all you have to atone with, is Source. And in those moments where you weren't aligned with your highest and your best, and you fell back into an ego experience, just atone with Source and you. I forgive myself for those moments through which I was transgressing. I just forgive myself. I forgive it all, because I choose to be this version of me now. Because it's a practice. You don't learn mastery overnight. You don't learn mastery in one lifetime. Source knows how many times you've been here. Gaia knows. Gaia knows you are an old soul. Gaia knows your vibration when you walk. Make no mistake about it. She knows you when you walk. She says, "Hi, Joanna, how are you? Let's open up and play." The fairies, "Hi, Joanna, where have you been?" The dolphins, the cetaceans, Sirius, on and off Sirius. Thank you. The cetaceans, on and off Sirius. So just know that you're known. You're a vast soul. You're a vast soul. Love everybody and forgive everything all the way. Love everybody, forgive everybody all the way. and help everybody out. Because everybody is playing their own story. Everybody's playing their own version. Everybody's learning their own soul's lesson. And every soul, Source knows every single soul. Source knows every soul. Source knows exactly what's going on with everybody. Nothing can be hidden from Source. Nothing. Transparency is 5D. It'll all be known. It'll all be shown. It'll all be bathed in light. So just forgive it all. Release the pettiness. Release the conspiracies. All the protests. Release it all. And just live in the openness of love and forgiveness, and start directing your energy in beautiful, creative ways. So we wanted to do a beautiful light activation. Thank you, holy creators. Thank you, holy creators, the Elohim, and the beautiful beings of holy light. Thank you. And I love and send beautiful rainbow light to everybody. I send rainbow light to everybody, and love and forgiveness to all of those in my past, present, and future timelines. I send love and joy and compassion to all those in my past, present, and future timelines. I open up to the highest vibrational essence of the spirit of the holy creators in all moments, and the within and without and above so below. You are all loved, you are all sacred, you are all special, you are all perfect. There is perfection in all energies, there is perfection in the forgiveness, and may we all anchor in the oneness of who we are as spirit. Thank you, holy creators, the holy light, the holy vibrational beings of holy light. Thank you, holy light, thank you, holy light, thank you, holy light. From all chakras, from all fields, we are divine and holy light. Thank you. Shishiyaya tatakaya tatake, shishiyana nakatataka, tatake tatakaya naila katatakatake la katataka. Heshishiyaya la katatakaya namakatataka, tatake shishiyana nakatataka, nanakatataka, nanakatataka, shishimanaka la katapatataka. Wina nananay namakatataka, laila nakatataka, nanagaya nanakidana, moya nanakatataka, shishiyataka. Oya mama katatike shishiyala la katatike ananake la la nakada maya tatike la la katatike maya ne moya ne moya shishiyatatka la katatakai. Hi, I'm a katatike shishiyala la katatakai and markatatai la katatatai la katatatai la katatatai la moya tike shishiyala katatakai sisiyana na. Ui ma ne maya ne no shishia nana I my shishkara correct mana ket e ay no maya Spread your wings, it's time to fly. Spread your wings, it's time to fly. Start at infinite, start at infinite, start at infinite. And release all the pettiness, release all the fear, release all the worry. Don't create timelines of fear and worry. Just release it all, release it all. As often as you have a fear come up, release it. Anything goes through your day, if it's a little tiny fear, it's a little tiny judgment, just release it. I say I release this to unconditional love because I choose to be love. I choose to live in love. I choose to respond in love. I choose to receive in love. I choose to give in love. Because I'm an infinite being of love and oneness, and everybody before me is my brother, and everybody before me is my sister. We are galactic brothers and sisters. We are universal sisters and brothers. We are here to create love and light for Earth, and our stories are love and oneness. And give love and gratitude to all of those in your stories, past, present, and future. Inner and outer, upper and lower, all things. It's all one, it's all source. And forgive yourselves for anything that you feel you're holding on to, and just let it go. Let it go. Source loves you. Source will forgive you. Thank you, children of light. Thank you, children of light. We rainbow you. We send you rainbow light. The links are below for any of our services and our offerings. Thank you so much for connecting with us. And we rainbow you, each and every one of you. We love you. Bye.